Hi friends! So today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different than I've done before, and I'm actually going to read you a bit of a first chapter in a book. So maybe you are a stronger reader and you need to upgrade from picture books, or maybe you have a grown-up in your life who likes to read you a bit more advanced books, or maybe you are just an advanced reader and you're ready to get started on these chapter books. Today I picked a fantasy book for you, and it is called The Bookshop of Dust and Dreams, and it's by Mindy Thompson, and it was just published in 2021. And when I saw this on the Contra Costa Library website, which that's where I get a lot of the books that I read, just because it's free and it's really easy to navigate. So if you have a website for the library in your area, make sure that you're using that. You're checking in to see if they get the latest new books that you want to read. And you can also put it on hold, which is what I did with this one. So you put it on hold, and they can transfer it from any other branch in the county to your local library, and then you can go pick it up. So my county is pretty large, and so when I request a book, it might take a day or two, but it makes it so I don't have to drive very far to go pick up my books. My local library is, a couple miles away from my home. And so that's a great resource that you can use. If you see that your library, your county library has a book that you want, but maybe it's farther away, see if they have a transfer opportunity where you can have it sent to your local library. And then it's really easy. All you have to do is go into the library, find your name on the shelf, pick out your book, and check it out. And I would highly recommend taking advantage of the library as much as you can. Obviously, I'm a librarian. I do love libraries, but it's free, and it's a great way to get some new literature in your life as much as possible. So today I'm going to be reading from this. I don't know if I'll read the whole first chapter. We're just going to see how it goes and see how long it takes for me to get through. But we're going to read as much as we can. And when I picked up this book, I thought to myself, Miss Herring from, when I was maybe 10 years old, I would have loved this book. I would have read this in a couple days, if not one day. I was a big reader when I was younger. And so I saw this book and I immediately had to pick it. And so I wanted to share it with you. Maybe the first chapter, maybe a little bit less. But this is a fantasy book. So if you are a fan of maybe Harry Potter or anything with wizards or dragons or anything magical, that's what fantasy is. And so if you like that kind of book, maybe this book is right for you. Or maybe you didn't really love Harry Potter, but you like the idea of magic, and so you wanted to find something that fits better for you. Okay? So I am going to read to you from this, okay? Chapter 1, November 3rd, 1944. Sutton, New York. The bookshop is feeling blue today. I sense it the moment my brother James and I arrive home from school. The lights are low. The ever-shifting wallpaper is a cheerless, dark gray with somber books on display. Wuthering Heights, Old Yeller, A Little Princess. The gloom sinks into my bones. "Papa?" I call. He should be at the emerald green front counter, but he isn't. "We're home!" James shouts. The soft sound of customers chatting trickles toward us through the fiction section, but Papa's booming voice, often too loud for the small cramped space, is absent. "What's gotten into the shop into a mood this time?" James asks, as the heavy atmosphere settles around us. Rhyme and reason does tend to be moody, but it's all part of the bookshop's charm. I pull the strap of my school bag over my head and hang it on the coat rack. There, everything is going to be all right," I tell the shop as I gently press my palm to the wall. The floral paper shifts from gray to a soft cream beneath my touch as it's soothed. A quote written on the chalkboard behind the front counter disappears and new words emerge as the shop attempts to communicate its feelings. The little bird, always energetic and bright, felt like no one saw her for her beauty or her strength. They only saw her flaws. The Tale of Little Bluebird, Ramona Woolridge. I remember that picture book. Mama used to read it to us at bedtime. James nods toward the board as he hangs his school bag beside mine. I remember it too. An understanding rushes over me. That picture book tells the story of a boastful little bird who gets knocked down a peg by her friends and must prove her self-worth in the end. Whenever a customer makes a suggestion to improve the shop, it deals a similar blow to Rhyme and Reason's self-confidence. Okay, so the second I read these first 2 pages, I was in, right? The idea of this quirky bookshop that is magical, that has moods, that responds when customers make suggestions to improve it, and has those kinds of feelings of fear and sensitivity. I was signed up. I was on board. I hope you are too. Will you tell Mama and Papa I'm going to Arthur's house? We're all meeting there to listen to the adventures of Superman. James tilts his head, and his fine brown hair falls over his eyes. 9 to my 13, he and I could not be more opposite. He loves going to school, where he's friends with everyone in his grade, and he spends most of his free time outside with them, as if he doesn't want to be tied down by Rhyme and Reason. I glance at my watch. The radio program starts in 5 minutes. You better hurry or you'll miss the beginning. I'll be home for dinner, as he calls as he rushes out the back door. I turn my attention to the shop, a shiver running through me. The usual warmth has disappeared, the hanging bulbs are off, and the pale light pours in through the front windows, illuminating the tall bookcases in a soft glow. Even the wisteria and climbing hydrangea, which drip from every shelf and surface, seem to droop. Someone's hurt your feelings again, I say as I unbutton my wool coat. The shop had a similar episode just last week. A customer didn't like the orange wallpaper Rhyme and Reason had decided on that day and suggested we pick something more tasteful. Rhyme and Reason went into a spiral for hours before Papa could calm it down. I check on the potted lemon tree by the front door to see how it's faring in these conditions. The focal point of the shop, its tall branches, almost touch the ceiling. The leaves are deep, rich green that matches the color of the front door, and the growing fruit are a luminous, crisp yellow. By the way, if you hear snoring, that is my English Bulldog Piper. She is laying right next to me on the couch, and she is having a snooze. So, good for her. As I reach for the water pitcher that sits in the window, one of the branches brushes my shoulder and hello. Hello to you too, I say. Mama often reminds us that lemon trees are a symbol of healing and travel, both of which Rhyme and Reason specializes in. The flip calendar that hangs just to the right of the entryway begins to shuffle through months, dates, and years. A customer is approaching. Our shop isn't a normal bookshop. It belongs to the world of magic ones. Just like the others, Rhyme and Reason finds people from outside of our time and brings them to our door. It searches 100 years into the future and past to find customers who need the light and hope it can offer through books and community. Papa says bookshops are good for broken souls and wounded hearts. The calendar stops shifting. November 18th, 1989. A customer visiting from the future. The bell above the door rings out as it pops open. Mr. Makuto, one of our regulars, with a bright smile and loud laughter, steps inside. Hey there, Poppy! How you been? Just fine, Mr. Makuto. I greet him, feeling like I need to shield my eyes from the bright green jacket he's wearing. How are you? Great! I finished the first book in the murder mystery series you recommended. I'm back for book 2. Do you happen to have it? Let's find out. I lead him to the fiction section. He was here a few days ago, and I remember exactly where to find the book he wants. I pull it off the shelf and hand it to him. That's the one, he smiles. I start to respond when I hear a shuffling sound behind me. The books on the end cap display shift, and one entitled Tales of Woe is brought to front and center. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness. Oh wow. We had the same response. I suppose finding Papa cannot wait. The bookshop is growing more forlorn by the second. There are 4 books in that particular series, but the author wrote a spin-off that has 8. They're all here. I'll give you some time to browse. Mr. Makuto nods, and I move around him. After a quick scan of the area, I see Papa is not in the fiction stacks. I cut through the fantasy aisle and emerge in front of the lilac hedge. It runs along the right side of the shop, all the way from the front to the back, concealing the children's section from the main floor. The lush green vines and bursting purple blooms morph into a doorway as I approach. I slip through, and the gap seals behind me. The children's area, made up of short white shelves, is lacking its usual color and life today. The mural on the wall, a vast painting of an enchanted forest full of glittering colors and ever-changing characters, shows a bleak, stormy landscape. The kites and airplanes, which usually circle the ceiling, lie lifeless on the floor. I move around the corner and see Bibine Zabala and her twin grandchildren, Cosma and Prosper. Bibine stands on the raised storytime platform, acting out a fairy tale the way she always does. "Let me tell you, dear reader, of the terror that struck their hearts at the sight of the 7-headed serpent." Bibine holds a well-worn copy of Basque mythology. She wears a costume from the dress-up box we keep beneath the mural. A paper crown adorns her head, and a red velvet cape cascades from her shoulders. Her grandchildren wear crowns too, and Prosper clutches a wooden sword. "The great serpent came out to eat only once every 3 months, and it was a terror to behold!" Cosma and Prosper sit, captivated by their grandmother, their cheeks red with excitement. They're nearly identical, with glossy dark curls and big brown eyes. The Zabalas visit us from 1937. Cosma and Prosper are refugees from the Basque Country. They were sent to live with their grandmother and their grandfather in the United States after their parents were killed. Bibine spends hours inside the shop with them, telling stories and acting out plays. Shy when they first began visiting, the twins are starting to come out of their shell. Bibine notices me watching and calls out the Basque word for hello. "Kaisho!" Kaisho. Heat rushes into my cheeks. I hope I have the pronunciation right. I hope I have the pronunciation right, too. A smile tilts in the corners of her lips. "Very good. You've been practicing. Care to join us? We are just about to get to the best part of the story." "I would love to, but I'm actually looking for my father." The shop is in a mood. As if in response, a flock of paper birds flies from the shelf above the picture books and swoop inches in front of my nose as they head off over the lilac hedge. "You haven't seen him by chance?" Bibine shakes her head. "Your brother was at the counter when we came in." "Al was at the counter. That must mean Papa isn't here." "Thank you." "What happens next, Amona?" Cosma leads in toward her grandmother. "Well, the great creature opened its mouth and let out a roar. It..." I move through the lilac hedge and into the small reading area at the back of the shop. Made up of a mismatched assortment of tables and chairs, the space is lit by the large brick fireplace that stretches across the far wall. It's full of customers today. Some talk in whispers among each other, and some read independently. I recognize a few regulars, but many of them I don't know. "Poppy, hi! I was hoping I would see you today." Anna Rose Alberstein, with bouncy brown curls, pale skin, and eyes that always seem to glitter, is 19 and visits us from 1956. She looks up from the book she's reading. "I landed in an audition for the musical that's actually going to be on Broadway. It's only a part in the chorus, and well, all right, it's not directly on Broadway, but it's near Broadway." The hanging light bulbs turn on above us, then flick off again. "What's going on with your electric?" A customer browsing the Western calls out to me. "It's been like this for an hour." "It has been awfully dark in here." Anna Rose frowns, her face lit by the glow of the fire. "I'm sorry about that. We'll get it fixed as soon as possible," I tell the customer. To Anna Rose, I say, I want to hear all about your audition, but I need to look into this first. I'll be right back. She nods and settles into her seat. I finally reach the wrought iron staircase that leads to the nonfiction on the second floor, then start up the steps. You're being a bit dramatic, I tell Rhyme and Reason as I go. The vines that grow around the railing shrivel away from my touch, the shop stung by my words. I know you're sensitive, but you can't just shut down every time someone says something that you don't like. If I did that, I wouldn't go to school ever again. I reach the top step and hear Al right away. I'm sorry. Like I said, we don't have any books by Henrietta Davies in stock. At least not today. My older brother emerges from the nonfiction shelves, dressed in tweed pants and a sweater vest. He looks so much like Papa, I almost rub my eyes. A woman I've never seen before follows tight on his heels. What kind of a bookshop is this without Henrietta Davis? She was one of the greatest writers of the 21st century, my dear. You haven't read a mystery until you've read Henrietta Davis. The woman has a tight, pinched face and gray hair swept into a bun. It's worse than I suspected. Not just a customer offering a suggestion for the shop, but a customer who is insulting the shop. Al sees me standing on the stairs and his eyes widen behind the lenses of his glasses in a help me sort of look. Henrietta Davis happens to be a distant relative of my grandmother's. If this shop were a good shop, it would have some of her work, the woman insists. Al adjusts the knot on his tie in discomfort. Let me show you to our mystery section. I can give you some fantastic alternatives. The customer peers up at him. I've glanced at that sorry excuse for a mystery section. Nothing caught my interest. Not to mention, I can't find anything with your filing system. Books shoved every which way. It's a complete mess. The soft white wisteria cascading down the nearest bookshelf shrinks as Rhyme and Reason hears her comments and sinks further into despair. The air grows cold around us, the chill settling into my stomach as the lights go out completely. She's really done it now. And what is wrong with your lighting? She snaps. You should really get someone in here to fix it. Anger surges through me. She can't talk to the shop like that. I curl my hands into fists, seizing any bravery I have. I think Rhyme and Reason is beautiful. The green paint on the front door might be chipped, and our books might seem disorganized to you, but we like it that way. If you don't like it, then you can leave. Her bushy caterpillar eyebrows shoot up, and she stares at me in horror. Excuse me? Who is this child? She puts extra emphasis on the last word, and I wither, the sudden courage leaving me. My knees shake, and I lean back against the railing for support. Al holds out his hand as if to calm her down. That's my sister. I'm sorry for her tone. I don't know what kind of establishment this is. Being run by children? It's a joke. She huffs and then storms past us, muttering more about Henrietta Davis. When she's gone, the fireflies emerge, rushing up to greet me. Tiny glowing bugs made out of yellow book pages and magic. They've long followed me wherever I go inside the shop. Hello, I greet them, holding out my palms for them to land. They brush against my skin, and instantly I'm filled with a soft sense of comfort. Al wipes a sheen of sweat off his forehead. You all right, Rhyme? The bulb above us flickers twice in response. Yes. I couldn't get her to leave. I tried to show her other books. When she didn't want those, I pretended I was busy, hoping that would shake her, but she followed me all the way up here. Where's Papa? He's usually the one who handles tough customers. Al adjusts his glasses and starts for the stairs. That scrap drive was today, the one at Hazel Park. He and Mama volunteered. Posters advertising the drive have hung around town for weeks. You can help with the war effort. Donate paper, metal, rubber, and rags. Save scrap, I begin the slogan. For victory! Al finishes unenthusiastically. For victory! I shout. Come on, it's how we do our part to help beat the Nazis. Al shakes his head as he moves to the first floor. I follow after him. It's how we help Carl. I regret the words as soon as I say them. Al stops on the bottom step, his shoulders tense at the mention of Carl Miller. I'm sorry, I say quickly. I didn't mean. It's fine. Al waves me away, but behind his glasses I see the worry in his eyes. It was silly of me to say that. Of course, collecting bits of scrap paper for packaging army crates can't help Carl. Not now that he's gone, missing in action. Worry eats at me too. I try to push it down as I follow Al through the shop, but I can't. Carl and Al have been best friends since they were born. He spent so much time here. He's much as a brother to me as my actual brothers. I can't help but miss the way he used to burst into the shop, always pretending to forget my name, calling me peony or posy or some other flower, as if he didn't know it was Poppy. Okay, we've hit 20 minutes. I guess that's probably enough for now, but if you like this story, again, it's called The Bookshop of Dust and Dreams, and it's written by Mindy Thompson. It is a very new release, and I would highly recommend it. Obviously, I got so into it, I just kept reading. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!